Have you ever heard the statement, you haven't lost until you quit? Hi, I'm Bernice Hunt, and I am a brain health professional. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory issues, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a public school teacher for over 30 years, I've run across kids who just quit at the drop of a hat, and I've run across kids that just stick with it and stay with it until they succeed. Now, when it comes to your brain, which one are you going to decide to do? Did you catch my last video? My last video was on the gut microbiome, and I talked about what the good bacteria need. And so if you want to take a look at that, you can find it still on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook page, Keep Your Brain Sharp, and take a look at it there. Today, I wanted to dive a little deeper with that and talk about how you can reset your gut microbiome, okay, and get it balanced again, and the do's and the don'ts regarding keeping it balanced. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to talk about 7 things that you can do and 7 things that you should not do if you want a balanced microbiome. And then if you do these things for 3 days in a row, it's going to jumpstart your gut to being healthy and balanced, okay? So here are the things. But first, you might ask me, what has this got to do with the brain? Everything. Because the brain and the gut are codependent. The brain needs the gut needs the brain. Yeah, the brain relies on the gut microbiome for a lot of things. In fact, they call the gut microbiome the second brain, and they say, if the mama's not happy, nobody's happy. That's kind of like it is with the gut and the brain. If the gut's not happy, the brain's not happy. In fact, I kind of say, if you have a healthy gut, it won't mess your brain up. So you want a healthy gut so your brain will have a better chance of staying healthy as well. So there's 7 things that you can do, you should do, 7 things that you should not really do. And if you want, like I say, to keep it balanced, do these things for 3 days in a row. The 7 things you should do, and don't do what you shouldn't do for at least 3 days in a row, and give that jump start on balancing your gut. Okay, so what are these things? Okay, number 1, you need to drink water. Increase your water intake. And a good way to start out with that is to start your day when you get up with room temperature water on an empty stomach. And that's going to help you get things going, get things moving, okay? And then all through the day, you want to increase your water intake, okay? So drink lots of water. Number 2, what you want to do, and this doesn't really have to do with food. You want to practice some kind of either yoga or meditation. Yoga or meditation. I did a video a few weeks ago about meditation. There's like 7 or 8 different kinds. So you can pick the one you want to pick. You know the kind I like. I like the spiritual meditation. Okay, you do you. But I like the spiritual meditation. But do whatever ones that you might want to do, or do the yoga or whatever. But that's going to shift you from a stress mode to a rest, digest, and heal mode. It's because your body has to be in the right environment for your digestive system to work properly. It's just like if you were having, sirens go off and, bells ringing and people yelling and screaming, and you try to get something done. It's kind of hard to concentrate and focus and get something done with all that racket when you're in that stress mode and everybody's, running around and trying to defend and protect and all this kind of stuff. It stops the work of the digestive tract. And so it's not able to digest and heal like it should. And so you want to practice meditation or yoga, deep breathing. That's going to get you calm back down. Calgon, take me away. Calm you out so that you can digest properly. Okay, so that was number 2. The next thing you want to do is you want to use sweeteners that are whole foods, that are like berries, bananas, dates, sweet potatoes, carrots. Something that has a little sweetness to it, but use that as your sweetener in your meal, okay? Just try it for 3 days, at least 3 days in a row, and get that gut back on the right track, okay? Sweeteners that are berries and bananas and dates and things like that, okay? The other thing you want to do is you want to get the proper sleep. We talked a little bit before about the connection with your gut, with your sleep cycle, okay? So you want to get the proper sleep, get your 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, and that's going to help with your digestive processing as well. Another thing you want to do, intermittent fasting. You know, I'm biggie on intermittent fasting, okay? And so you're going to step away from that table, move away from that food for 2 to 4 hours every day, whatever the time span you want to have. You know, I like the 16-8, you do you, but move away from that table at set time, scheduled time on a regular basis. Give your gut a chance to rest. We all need some downtime. Give it some downtime. Give it a chance to rest. Okay, so you want to do that intermittent fasting. At least do it for 3 days, guys, to get your gut back in order. Okay, intermittent fasting. Then we have your probiotics and your prebiotics. Don't want to leave those out. Probiotics and your prebiotics, and also your resistant starches. Okay, so if you want to have a meal, let's say at lunchtime. Okay, so eat a probiotic at lunchtime with whatever else you're eating, but have either the yogurt or the kefir or the sourdough or whatever it is that you're going to do with your fermented food type or fermented veggie of some sort or whatever that you're going to eat with whatever else that you're eating. Okay, kimchi. My mom loved kimchi. You know, a fermented food. You want to have a probiotic every day, 3 days straight at least, guys. Okay, a probiotic food. And then in the evening time with your dinner, you want to have a prebiotic food. Okay, and what you need to know about prebiotics is how's it go? There's fiber, and every prebiotic has fiber, but not all fibers are prebiotic. Okay, so you need to make sure that this is one of the foods that doesn't digest until it gets down into the large intestinal area. Okay, you wanted a prebiotic food or resistant starch like cold potatoes or cold rice or grains or they say green bananas. Yellow bananas that are not ripe yet, they're still green, are supposed to be an excellent source of resistant starch, and they don't digest until they get into your large intestine where the majority of your bacteria are, and that's where they can eat them up down there like they're supposed to. So that's a good one too, are your prebiotic foods that you eat, like the garlics and the apples and things like that. Okay, so a prebiotic food for dinner. All right, so those are the things that you need to do for at least 3 days, okay, to get your gut on the right track. Increase your water, do either yoga or meditation, okay. Sweeteners would be from whole foods like berries, you know, and sweet potatoes and things like that. All right, you want to do intermittent fasting. You want to do enough sleep, and you want to do prebiotics and probiotics. So those are 7 things you need to do. Now let's move on to what you don't need to do. And once again, 3 days in a row, you can do this, guys. 3 days in a row, what you don't want to do. Number 1, you don't want to abuse your use of caffeine. A lot of people have to have their coffee in the morning or their chocolate or whatever they do with their caffeine of choice. You know, and there's, controversy on how much caffeine is good for you. A certain amount is good, whatever. But you don't want to abuse it. I don't care if it's good for you. You don't want to abuse it. It gets it as a tipping point where it's no longer good for you. And in terms of your digestion, caffeine is a stimulant, and so it's going to speed up things, okay? And that includes when it gets down into your gut, it's going to speed things up. And you want the food as it's digesting to go through the process that it needs to go through so that it can be, the nutrients and things can be extracted out of it. And you don't want it to whoosh through that system too quickly before you're able to get everything out of it that you need out of it. So you don't want it to be everything speeded up down there. So you want don't want to overdo it with caffeine because that's going to be a stimulant for you. So for 3 days at least, guys, cut back on that. Okay, help your gut out. Okay, another thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to resist the urge to go. You know what I'm talking about. You get that feeling. It's time to go. Have that bowel movement, right? But you get into something else, or you're doing something else, or you don't want to do it there, or you want to wait till you get home, or whatever your excuse is, whatever your reasoning is. It's not the thing to do, because when it's time to go, it's time to go. And if you don't go then, you run the risk of backing things up and making bigger problems. And the longer it stays up in there and dries all out and all of that kind of thing, then you have a risk of it getting into your bloodstream and things start happening. So you don't want to do that. So when it's time to go, it's time to go. Just stop what you're doing and go do your business, okay? So you want to resist the urge to hold back on that, okay? Another thing you want to do is you want to stay away from refined sugars. So we're talking artificial sweeteners as well. We're talking, the regular table sugar and all those other kind of processed sugars and stuff. We're also talking about diet sodas. We're also talking about artificial sweeteners, high fructose corn syrup, all of those things. You want to stay away from that. Don't get on that, because that is going to encourage your bad bacteria, the things that you don't want. Okay, another thing you want to do is stay away from fried foods. They say the fried foods encourage the bad bacteria to act up and take over and all that kind of stuff. So stay away from those fried foods, okay? Another thing you don't want to forget to do is exercise. I don't care what exercise you're going to do. Move that body, get that body going, exercise. When you move, your gut moves better, okay? And you know that. So make sure you work in some kind of exercise for those 3 days as well. You also want to make sure you're not eating unhealthy oils, okay? So the cooking oils that you're using, make sure that they're healthy. The cooking oils, or use your avocado or whatever, but you don't want to use like your vegetable oil, your canola oil, your corn oil, those kind of things. You don't want to use the unhealthy oils, okay? And you don't want to smoke. If you're a smoker, stop it. Sorry, but if you're a smoker, stop it. But if not forever, then at least for those 3 days, stop it and get your gut back in order, and then please try to stop it on a permanent basis. Okay, so those are the things that you don't want to do, okay, for those times, to reset your biome, to get it back in order, and then hopefully you can continue that, continue your prebiotics, continue your probiotics, continue your natural whole food sugars, continue your water, continue all of that, because you'll feel so much better, and you'll start that flow. When you go, you'll have that flow, okay, the things that you want, all right? So those are the things that you want to do. Now, if you need that list again, because you weren't writing it down, or you don't have a memory like that where you remember everything I just got finished saying, I'm happy to give that to you. Just make sure you mention this video number 136, or go to my resource library, guys. I got a resource library now. I have a link for that. If you'd like it, I'll give that to you. You can go in there and you can look through the things that I have talked about on various videos and copy down whatever you want. So that's definitely your option, but you need to know the video number specifically if you want it, or just browse through it. And what I want to tell you is my master classes are coming back, guys. In a few days, we're going to be starting next week with master classes. So if you have not signed up for the free class, go ahead and click that link and do what you need to do, because I'm going to be talking again. And if you have come, I'm doing some more different freebies, free tips. And so if you went to one before and you heard it and you want to get some more free tips, come on back and join us again and get some more free tips, because you know what? Your brain's destiny is in your hands.